Hey everybody, so as you can tell I'm filming the video, so welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're a recurring subscriber. I know I don't post consistently, but I'm working on it. I really want to post consistently, so feel free to share this video with your friends, follow my Instagram and Twitter for all that fun stuff, and let's just get into the video. For this video, I want to address some of the top misconceptions about restaurant cashiers, because there's a lot of them, but I'm only gonna go over some of the basic, like, most prominent misconceptions, because as a restaurant cashier myself, I've been told some of these things and other things. I've had conversations with people when I wasn't a cashier, and so now I will disclaimer, this does not apply to every single restaurant in the world, and it is all dependent on how the owner/managers run the store. But generally, these are the misconceptions I get, and they're all false. The most common misconception I get is that all cashiers do is take orders. This is 100% not true. Yes, we do take orders. We also clean the store. We also, if we're able to run the food out to you, dependent on the restaurant. Like I said, all of these are dependent on what restaurants you go to. And that, so like I said, we clean the store, we get the food out to you if we can. And we also make sure everything is stocked. And we check on all of the tables, and we bring you refills if you so choose to do so. I asked people if they want refills, and sometimes they're like, yes, can you give me more Coke? And then sometimes they're like, no, I'll get it later. We also bust the tables, again, dependent on the restaurant. And so, like, you can't just assume that all we do is take orders. And even if they do just take orders, they have to make sure the order is right. As cashiers, we have to upsell. So when you're placing an order, and they're like, do you want anything else with that? Do you want avocados on your sandwiches? Do you want upsize your drink? Do you want to try a specialty drink? Do you want a thing of salsa? Do you want this? Do you want that? And you're so annoyed that everybody's asking that. We have to do that. It is not a choice for us. A lot of cashiers hate doing that, by the way. And that's another misconception, is that we're there to annoy you and that we're just trying to get your money. We're not trying to get your money. We're trying, because we have, again, depending on the restaurant, we have secret shoppers come in. And if we don't do everything that the secret shopper is looking for, we will get in trouble by our managers. Even if because depending on the restaurant, if a secret shopper comes in and you don't do exactly what you're supposed to do, and you get like an 80 instead of 100, you'll get in trouble for it. Like, you won't get fired, but you will get talked to, like, hey, we had a secret shopper come in and he said this, that you didn't do this, this, and this, so you need to work on that and keep doing it. And so even though an 80 out of 100 is good, it's not what the restaurant's looking for, because everybody's aiming to be their best. So there's also that. And another misconception that we get is that if your food comes out wrong, you automatically assume it's the cashier's fault because we took the order. This is also not true. It can be true. Sometimes as cashiers, we're humans, we mess up. But you automatically come to the person who took your order, and that's okay. But when you come with an attitude about it, then it's like, sir or ma'am, please, what's the problem? How can I help you? What's going on? And that's why we always ask to see your receipt. Some people, they throw the receipt away. But sometimes as cashiers, we will try to remember what we rang you up for and remember everything you said. And I'm like, this is how the order went. Did you mean this or did you mean this? Just if you meant this, then it wasn't clear and that was my fault. I'm so sorry. But then sometimes, you as the customers are also human as well. Sometimes you will forget things. Sometimes you will forget to say or mention that you didn't want this or you wanted extra this. And I'm not saying cashiers are like, I'm not trying to make us sound like, oh, woe is us, but I'm trying to just give some insight to those who have never worked in the food industry. Some people, because not everybody works in the food industry. A lot of people, they go to school and then right out of school either go to the military, so they never go to food industries, or when they go to college, they work on college campuses and have like sometimes not a food industry job, sometimes like a clerical job or something like that. So not everybody works in the food industry, and I totally understand that. But I've worked in food industry since I was like, 16? And I'm 22 now, so I've been in the food industry a long time, and this is all the misconceptions that I constantly get, that it's our fault that your order was messed up. Sometimes it's the kitchen's fault, because that's why I like when customers keep their receipts, so I can be like, I ran this up the way you told me to. I'll go talk to the kitchen because they messed it up. I'll go get whatever it is you want. So another misconception I get is tipping. Now again, I don't know how, if you're 21 or over, take a shot every time I say dependent on the restaurant. But again, dependent on the restaurant, tipping varies. Some people, if you tip them and they get to keep your tip, and then they get to go home with some extra cash in their pocket. Other places, they have what's called a tip share. Now, each tip share at different restaurants are different. Some tip shares, they just divide them all equally and they go on their merry way. Other places have a tip share where they do divide it, but it's dependent on how many hours. So someone who worked a 40-hour week is going to get more tips than someone who worked a 20-hour week. And even though it's just as much work, that's another conception I'll get to in a minute. But that person who works 40 hours that week may need it more than the person who works 20 hours that week. Or, it could be the other way around, but like they just want to keep it fair because they don't want anybody to gripe and be like, well, how come she had more tips than me? She worked 20 hours and things like that. So the tip share can be kind of tricky, but tips are appreciated, and I get so grateful whenever somebody leaves me a tip, even if it's just like $1 tip. But basically, if somebody were to leave me a $20 tip, which has happened maybe one time, not that I'm not a good employee, it's just like a lot of people don't like to tip $20 unless it's a bartender. If someone were to tip me $20, I would see maybe $10 of that. While $10 is good, it's just like half of it. And sometimes people who tip me, they want me to get their tip. And I feel so terrible because I have to explain to them, actually, no, I won't get your tip. Like, I'll see some of your tip in at the end of the week. It's a weekly week. At where I work, we get our tips every Monday, and so every week I get anywhere between $20 to $60 worth of tips. And so it's just and it's just between the cashiers. Now the bartenders have their own thing if there's a bar in where you work. Where I work, I do work at a place where it's cashiers and bartenders. The bartenders, whatever they make, they get to keep it. They get to keep those tips that they get and go home. And with the cashiers, because there's so many of us, we have to divide it and go off hours and things like that. Now, the last misconception I'll get to, because this video is probably really long by now, is that cashiers don't do hard work. As I mentioned earlier, cashiers don't just take orders. We do make sure everyone is taken care of, we bust the tables and all of that. It is a lot of work. I'm not saying that it's more hard work than somebody who works outside all day or anything like that, but it is hard work. We're on our feet for, depending on if you have a full-time position or a part-time position, we're on our feet and unable to sit down anywhere between 4 to 8 hours. Whereas I know there are other jobs where they can't sit down for 12 hours. I am aware. The cashiers, when we come home from the end of the day, we want to sit and we want to relax. We don't want to do anything that requires us moving our feet, because we have been on our feet for so long. Because where I currently work, there's an ice machine that we have to fill, and I am like close to 5'3", and I can't reach it, so I have to pull a chair in front of the ice machine, open up the lid, keep it like up there, and then grab and fill as many buckets as needed. And the buckets can get heavy. I'm used to it now because I've been there for 4 or 5 months now. So pouring ice into the ice machine is not that difficult for me anymore. So I appreciate the customers that take notice of how hard I'm working, because sometimes if it's slow, or if we're short-handed that specific day because someone called sick or something like that, I hustle, I run everywhere. And some customers are like, you don't have to run, and then other customers are like, wow, you're like really busting butt or something, aren't you? And I'm like, yes, now how can I help you? And so a lot of people think cashier is an easy job, which it is. I'm not saying that it's like so hard and woe is me, but it's not, we go in and take orders, sit down and just chill till the next person comes in. We have things to do and we have expectations to meet. And just like every other job you have expectations to meet and things to do. So that's going to be the end of that. If there's any misconceptions about cashiers that I forgot or didn't get to in this video, please comment them down below. Or if you want me to do a part 2 with your comments, then let me know that as well. I hope you enjoy my videos, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do that, and then ring the bell to get notified when I post a new video. It's typically every about 2 or 3 weeks. I'm trying to get better at it, as mentioned. Go watch my last video. I did it with my boyfriend. We did Who's More Likely To, and it was really fun to film. So that is it for this video. I hope to see you guys very, very soon.